Hey everyone, it's Tea Time with Tea again. No, it's not Video Wednesday, but life happens. I was moving yesterday and it was my birthday, so I decided I would take a little break and get my stuff all done. But now I'm back and we're going to roll right into it. But first, please forgive the lighting. New place, trying to figure it all out. I just wanted to let y'all guys know that, I'm still here, still kicking it. And the topic this week is spanking your children. And it is from Christina on Facebook. And she wanted to know if I thought spanking your child was considered child abuse. Um, Everything in moderation is my feel. Some kids need a swat, some it just makes them worse. It's all based on the child. There is a line between spanking and beating, the abuse type. Um, and you cannot cross that because, your children are a precious gift. You don't, need to beat the hell out of them constantly and expect them to love and respect you. That's just not going to happen. But they do need discipline, they do need structure, and it also varies on the child's age. After they get so old, I've found that, spanking them doesn't work. Take their electronics, change the password to the Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff is what the electronic kids now um, tend to hit them worse. Take the charger for their cell phone, watch them, just crumble and fall to pieces when their battery goes completely dead. Um, but, children don't come with an instruction booklet. Every child's different. If you have more than one child, you know that each child is different, and the way they learn and the way they need to be disciplined doesn't mean you love your children less. It just means you have to love them different because, one may have a really quirky personality that's, kind of, you know, hard to take at times. And then another may be, the smart mouth one. And then you've got another one that is, the quiet little mouse. I mean, you could have a plethora of personalities the more children you have. I only have one, thank goodness. I couldn't have handled any more than that. I love my son. I really do. And he did get spankings. I did spank him up to a certain point, and then, spanking no longer worked. Then it was, okay, you lose your Xbox, you lose your cell phone. But I don't think he's had a spanking since he was 5. I've, popped him for, hey, don't talk to me like that. But I've not spanked his butt since he was 5 and tried to run away from home at 5 years old. I have to tell you, it was a really genius idea on his part, but it scared the living shit out of me. But, everybody's going to holler child abuse if you spank your kids. But, if you go off and, like beating them across the face with a belt, that you've crossed the line. You need to be stopped. A couple of swats, and, if they don't get it, then you move to a different type of discipline because it doesn't all have to be physical. I was 42 yesterday, and so, my parents raised me and my brother and my sister with the spare the rod, spoil the child mentality. We got spankings. If we did something wrong, we got our ass whipped. And, if we had to wait on dad to get home, it was bad. And I don't think we ever got a spanking we didn't deserve. I mean, starting a fire in a steel wheel in a wood building. Yeah, that's not the best thing. You get your butt whooped for that. Because, you could have burned the whole place down. Yes, that was me and my brother. We did some crazy shit, and we deserved our spankings. We did. But, our parents didn't, just like beat us or anything. Not to the extreme where, spanking should be outlawed. Now, I do know a few people that I grew up with that they had a parent that was, pretty bad about that. I mean, he was an alcoholic and he liked to, hit on his wife and kids, and that was out of line. And when the kids got big enough to fight back, that quit. But not everybody's that lucky. So, the moral is, if you cannot spank your child without losing your temper and just beating the crap out of them, don't raise a hand to them. Find other ways to discipline. I mean, everything has to evolve and move on. So that does too. If spanking doesn't work, then, do reinforced parenting, do the token system, do, grounding of electronics. So when you do electronics, you got to be specific, and you don't ground them and forget, because I had a tendency to do that with my son. A week later, he's like, "Can I be ungrounded?" I'm like, "What are you grounded for?" You know, I got a little airheady, but that was that. Um, it's just cut and dry. Don't abuse your kids. That's basically all it is. They are a precious commodity. Love them. Your job is to feed them, clothe them, protect them, and teach them how to be decent human beings. If you can't do that, then you don't need to be raising children. That's just my opinion. As always, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. The link to the Facebook page is down below. And just remember, no matter what, be good to others, but especially be good to you. See you next week.